Hi, I am Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on So, Book Club The Next Chapter. Now, this isn't a film that I was too huge on seeing, but I saw that this film was coming out on the 12th of May, and so I thought, alright, could be interesting. I'll be honest, I'm not that much of a comedy person. Like, I mean, there are some comedy films that I do enjoy, but I don't know, there hasn't really been like that many comedy films in recent years that I've enjoyed. The only one I can think of is like the Nan movie, but like that's really about it. The most viewed video on my channel. Um, but anyways, so yeah, I found out anyways. So when the sun was coming out, I thought, alright, this could be an interesting watch. So about a week ago, in preparation for this movie, I watched the first film on our new Fire Stick, and I'm gonna be honest, I actually thought it was a pretty good film. Now, I didn't love it. Like, I didn't think it was a great film. I didn't think it was, like, absolutely outstanding or anything. But for what it was a solid enough film. Um, but anyway, so for just some very brief thoughts on the first movie out of the way. What did I think of the second film, Book Club to the Next Chapter? Honestly, there were some moments that I enjoyed, but overall, though, I thought that this movie was average, honestly. Yeah, I mean, granted, I didn't expect this movie to be, amazing or anything, because the first film wasn't even an amazing movie either, it was just a decent film. But, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, this movie it was average, in my opinion. So, starting things off with the film's cinematography, I think that the cinematography in this movie is pretty good. Now I thought that the first film has decent cinematography, and this movie does as well, but I mean, I'll be honest, if there's one thing that this movie does improve upon over the previous film, it's probably the cinematography, because, I mean, well, it's so decent, but it does have that bit of a step up, I think, from the first movie. Now that's not surprising, because the first film came out back in 2018, so the first film has been out for 5 years now. So obviously a film from 2023 is going to look a bit better than a film from 2018. But yeah, I mean, it's a general, yeah, I think it's pretty good cinematography overall. Now next up we have the pace, and I'm gonna be honest, the pace in this film is its biggest problem. Now, I mean, granted, I'm gonna be honest, the the first movie also, well, the pace in the first movie wasn't terrible or anything, but the first film did have its pacing issues, to be fair. However, in my opinion, this movie is honestly worse in terms of the pace, because there are some scenes in this movie that honestly just drag. Like, there are scenes in this film where where it really took a while to get going. Like, for example, the start of the movie, without spoiling too much, the film basically opens up with what the four women have been doing since the events of the first movie, which, to be fair, is not surprising at all, but honestly, in my opinion, this opening scene just takes way too long, honestly. And yeah, it kind of just drags, honestly, and it's like, it's just, you're wondering when is the film gonna, get going and stuff. And not to mention as well, I was also just really waiting for the women to get to Italy. I mean, it's like they do eventually get there, but I noticed that the film kind of took its time when they do eventually get to Italy, and what only gets too bad, it's kind of like, come on, like, we kind of gotta get to it and stuff. But yeah, overall, the pace in this movie is just not very good. It really lets the film down. Then there's the sounds and music, which is definitely one of this film's stronger points, because I do think that this movie does have some genuinely really good music in it. There's a lot of very good songs as well. So yeah, the film actually did a very good job soundtrack wise. Then there's the editing in this film, which I won't talk too much about, but the editing in this movie is good. The editing in the first movie was good, and the editing in this film is good as well. So yeah, it was solid editing. As for the characters, we have the four main characters from the previous film. You have Diane, Vivian, Sharon, and Carol. And they were all decent characters in the first movie, and I think in this film they're pretty good too. I thought that the interactions between them were all very good. They were really a highlight of the first movie, and once again, I do think they have very good chemistry with one another. They have very good bonds. They have great interactions. All four actresses do a great job. They're pretty much they do very good jobs in the film, honestly. So yeah, they were all pretty good. Then we have some of their boyfriends slash husbands or fiancés. First up we have Mitchell, who is Diane's boyfriend, and he was pretty good in the scenes that he got. I also thought that Vivian's fiance, he was pretty good too. I've forgotten his name, but he was Don Johnson's character. He was pretty good, and he was decent in the scenes that he got. And of course there was also Bruce, Carol's husband. He was decent as well in the scenes that he got. Now they don't have as much scenes in this movie as they did in the first film, but from what we do get to see of them, they're decent. They're pretty good. Now there's not that many like new characters and stuff like joining the cast. We have Giancarlo Giannini as this deputy officer or something, and I thought he was decent from the scenes that he got, and there was one or two other characters as well that they were alright. However, one thing that I definitely noticed about this movie was that there were a few characters from the first movie that were absent in this film, which, don't get me wrong, that's not much of a surprise. I mean, it's not like you can have literally every single character from the first film in your sequel, but I noticed that a lot of the characters were just removed without any explanation whatsoever. Like in the first one, you may remember Richard Dreyfuss was in the first film. He played a character called George. Now I know he wasn't a huge character in the first movie, but I mean, at the end of the film, he was starting to date Sharon. However, in this movie, he doesn't appear. There's no mention of him whatsoever. I don't know, maybe Richard Dreyfuss just didn't want to come back, or maybe he was just too busy or something, but yeah, it honestly felt like it felt pretty odd to just get rid of him with no explanation whatsoever. And who I also noticed was not in this movie were Diane's two daughters. They're not in this film either, which isn't really a huge issue, but they're not even mentioned at all, and I just find that very weird, honestly. But yeah, it felt odd that they just removed a few characters without any explanation given. But in terms of the characters that are in this film, they're decent. They're nothing amazing, but they're solid. Then we have the plot. Now, the plot of this film is fairly simple. It's a simple enough plot for a comedy sequel, and I mean, it usually does go about the way you would expect. There is a lot of comedy. Some of it hits, some of it doesn't. But I think it's really just the pace, that the poor pacing honestly just brings it down for me. So the film didn't have a terrible plot, but I don't know, it's just, again, that they really should have improved upon this film's pacing. And there's also the narrative structure as well. This film isn't really too strong when it comes to narrative structure. We really just have the main plot about, like, the four ladies on their way to like the place to go and stuff, but initially, but like, I mean, there's one or two subplots that are sprinkled in, and a lot of them are just kind of weak in my opinion. Like, one of them just comes into the movie, is there for a minute or two, and then it's just instantly resolved, and yeah, I just found it kind of poor, to be honest. So overall, while Book Club The Next Chapter is not a bad film by any means, it has an alright plot, it has decent characters, And there are it has a lot of very good music. There's some pretty good jokes as well. But the film did do some things that were kind of weird, like they just omitted a lot of characters with no explanation given. One or two subplots just they were kind of just brought into the film, and like it was kind of weak on that aspect. Like, not to mention, without giving much away, the ending of this movie, which I won't spoil, it's just so strange, honestly. It's just so weird, and like, also, but again, the pace is just a huge issue. Like, the film really does drag in a lot of scenes, especially around the opening, and yeah, there a lot throughout the film. You're really waiting for it to just come on, get going and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit weak in that aspect. So overall, while it is not a bad movie, there are some things it definitely could have done a bit better. And I overall just genuinely enjoyed the first film a bit more. So, with that, I'm going to give Book Club the Next Chapter a 5 out of 10. So, with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.